Good Thanksgiving morning. All right, I'm cooking. The pan looks a little funny because I have just seared some kielbasa for our relish trays. Basically, we eat all morning, and then typically I make such a big buffet spread of yummies that Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas dinner as well just end up sitting there and end up being eaten the next day because nobody feels like it. But here I have a screaming hot pan, and I'm going to add some kielbasa. This recipe is for my double stuffed Thanksgiving stuffing, by the way. And you're basically just going to sear that off. And so what I'm going to do is I've cut my, okay, you know how it's kielbasa, so of course it comes in like a sausage link. So basically what you do, I'm going to refer to it as a weenie. So basically what you do is you take the weenie, right, and it's round, you cut it in half, and then you cut each half in half, and you come up with these little triangles, right? All right then. Okay, and that's looking pretty good and seared there. So now to this, I am going to add, hold on. Okay, this is a Mod Podge, but like I said, it's Thanksgiving morning, and I was up and I was down, and I didn't think to do it in front of y'all. But this right here is one small onion, the hearts of the celery, 5 or 6 baby small stalks with the celery leaves, or you can use 3 or 4 regular stalks, whichever you prefer. I have a large Granny Smith apple and a large Red Delicious apple, and I also have down there about 2 pickled jalapenos, or you could translate that out to 1 raw, no seeds, with the veins chopped fine. And the grocery store is open today, but I am not going to go to the grocery store. I like to triple and quadruple my stuffing by adding, I also, not just the kielbasa, but I also add some Jimmy Dean sausage, one whole tube of Jimmy Dean sausage. I brown it, and then I also do 5 or 6 links of hot or sweet, whatever I can get my hands on sale. 5 or 6 links of Italian sausage that I squeeze from the casing, and I brown it the way you brown the Jimmy Dean and the way you brown ground beef. And then I also add the kielbasa and the celery, the onions, the jalapeno, and the 2 apples. Now you want to get this, I've got a super cheat. I have a super cheat that I'm going to use. You're going to say, oh my God, she's not adding any sage or any thyme or any salt or any pepper. Because I kind of cut my work. I've got 6 boys, okay, and a very hungry husband. So I cut my workload in half by using a super cheat. So as soon as this sautés down, we'll be back. But for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about I don't know, maybe I'm going to take a quart of chicken stock, and I'm going to set it to boiling. In fact, I can do that in front of y'all, I guess. Let me see here. And my fire doesn't want to turn on. I've got one fuss budgety burner here. All right, there we go. Now, let me go get the stock. Okay, I have decided not to. I just don't want to dirty up an extra pot. It is 9 o'clock in the morning and I just don't feel like it. So what I'm going to do is, this is, nothing's been added yet, but let me go over it again. Red Delicious apple, Granny Smith apple, 1 small onion, the hearts of the celery stalk, or you can use 3 or 4 stalks of the outer part. The kielbasa, about however many you like, 1 to 2 pickled jalapenos, or 1 raw without the seeds, but with the veins. You want some punch in there. And then what I have here is about a cup of dark walnuts that I have rough chopped, but I have rough chopped them fine. And I'm going to go ahead and put those in there to saute with the mirepoix and the sausage and apples. Well, it's not really a mirepoix. There's no bell pepper in it, but you can add it. Okay, so I'm going to let this go. Oh, and you also want to set your oven to 350 degrees. And you're going to want to take some butter pan to a baking dish. I guess that's a 9 by 13. Or you can, this pan that I'm cooking in right now is good up to 350 degrees in the oven. Gotta love Tefal. And so I might just take care of business in this pan. So we're going to let these nuts get a little soft. And we're going to let everything wilt down for a little bit longer. And I'll be right back. All right, and it is reduced. And here is my super duper, super critical cheat. Chicken flavored stuffing mix. And look, on top of it, and it's generic, and I got it for $1. So basically, you can use the Pepperidge Farm cubes if you want to, and just add the broth and then add your seasonings. That's perfectly fine. But to be perfectly honest, nobody can ever really tell the difference. So I am going to add 3 of these to my yummies here. And then, of course, you're going to want to save the ever-important seasoning packet if you decide to use the stovetop. But I'm a bigger fan of, you know, I used to go all out and, you know, make the 12-course meal completely from scratch. And everybody was really grateful, and I loved that. And everybody thought it was really tasty. But I started taking these little shortcuts and realizing that nobody noticed. So basically, I'm going to, right at this point, I'm going to try to get these all incorporated. Okay. Then I'm going to add the 3 packages of this seasoning mix on top. And those of you that are worried about the GMO in the stovetop stuffing, like I know Cat's Cradle is, I think it's Cat's Cradle. Somebody was really concerned about the, you know, the GMO stuff, and that's okay. Make your own bread. You can do that. You control what's in it. And then I'm going to add the chicken broth. Yes, out of a box. Or you can make your own. This is just, you know, a cheat. And you don't necessarily have to put in as many apples or, you know, as many jalapenos or as much celery as I did. To me, this dressing is an eyeball thing. You know, you know how sometimes you look at stuff and say, well, you know what? I don't want that many of this, and I don't want that much of that in my food. Just go about it that way. All right, and you just toss it around. Make sure those seasonings get evenly incorporated. Make sure everything gets wet, and dumbass, turn off your fire. Okay, turn off your flame. And just mix it up. And at this point, you can add a couple of eggs, and you can incorporate the eggs if you like. I know most recipes call for incorporating a couple of eggs to add as binder, but I'm not going to do that because I want it to clump a little, and I want it to free fall a little when I dip into it, and you know, and see, that's pretty much practically perfect. but I've got 3.5 hours before my bird is ready. So, and just make sure that you get everything really, really, really well incorporated, because you wouldn't want somebody to just get like a bite of that seasoning packet. All right then, so at this point it is ready to go. What I am going to do is I'm going to set this aside, and then when my turkey is at the like I said, I'm not going to add eggs, but when my turkey is at the 1.5 hour mark, I want this to get a crust on it. So, and I've got a 3.5 hour turkey. So when my turkey is at the 1.5 hour mark, I am going to put this pan into my 350 oven for an hour or an 1.5 hours, just until it gets kind of dry and kind of crusty, and you know, you make it the way you like it, but this is just to give you an idea of the simple things that you can do, you know, a little semi-homemade kind of cooking deal here, and you'll be good to go. Eat at home. And see, there's no need to, oh my God. And there is no need to, you know, to go out and pay somebody. Like I saw my exact stuffing, but with the jalapenos that I just added at the grocery store for $6.99 a pound. Why? Why? When, you know, those 2 apples that I used cost me, together combined, cost me $0.25. The kielbasa I bought with a coupon, so it was $1.25. The stuffing boxes were 25 cents a box, and it came with the seasoning. The onion and the celery, my mom actually had left over, so she gave them to me, but she went and got the celery for 50 cents and the onions for 50 cents at the dollar store. So, you know, why spend $6.99 a pound for something somebody else has made and you don't know what's in it? I mean, like I said, that packet, you can pretty much taste it and smell it, and taste that it's salt and pepper, sage, thyme. You know, you can sniff your own seasonings and determine what's in that packet if you don't want to deal with the packet and the preservatives and whatnot that are in there to keep it from the anti-clumping agents and whatever. And you know, sage and thyme and you know, all that good stuff. You can make your own, especially the dehydrated stuff. You can most definitely use the dehydrated stuff, and then just put it in your food processor or a coffee grinder and make your own, you know, seasoning packet. So, I mean, there's so many ways you can go about this. Like I said, this is just to give you an idea, and this is my tastes like homemade, but it's actually a lazy butt stuffing, and it's just a hit every year. Eat at home, y'all.